Hello everyone and welcome to our Sciences Po Live broadcast dedicated to the Sciences Po Undergraduate College. My name is Adrien Canet and I serve as Marketing and Recruitment Manager at Sciences Po. I am truly delighted that so many of you are able to be with us today, so whichever part of the world you are connected from, welcome to you all and thank you for being with us. We are going to be together for about 30 minutes to give you the most up-to-date information on the Sciences Po Undergraduate College. To do so, several guests are with me today. To start with, in this studio by my side is Jeanne Lazarus, Dean of the Sciences Po Undergraduate College. Jeanne, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Adrien.
And we also have 3 students and graduates from the Undergraduate College. Not only 3 students and graduates from 3 different programs at Sciences Po, 3 different countries, but also 3 different minors on our regional campuses. For those of you who are watching us live on YouTube today, should you have any question at this point, know that you can ask your question in the chat module of this YouTube live. Our guests will be more than happy to answer a few of those questions in the second part of this broadcast. Now let's get started, and my first question goes to Jeanne Lazarus. Jeanne, as a start, could you sum up in a few words what the Sciences Po Undergraduate College is all about?
Yes, so the undergraduate college is a 3-year program to gain a bachelor. 2 years are spent in France. The 3rd year is spent abroad in one of our partner universities. It's a social sciences and humanities program with a very strong multidisciplinary core courses. And we also have different minors that are taught in our 7 different campuses all around France.
So a 3-year multidisciplinary program offered on 7 campuses in France, in Dijon, Le Havre, Menton, Nancy, Paris, Poitiers, and Reims. What are the main subjects, disciplines, and methods taught at the undergraduate college?
So we have 6 core disciplines: economics, sociology, law, history, political science, and what we call political humanities, which is basically philosophy of political sciences. And the methods that are taught are around all those different disciplines. Some are qualitative, other are quantitative.
So we mentioned 7 campuses in France. Are all programs offered on the Sciences Po 7 campuses?
Yes, so the main curriculum is exactly the same on the different campuses, but there's a geographical minor which represents around 20% of the main curriculum. It can be either special seminars, it can be for example, in the history or in the sociology course, you would find some references to the geographical area of the campus. And also on the different campuses, the languages that are provided, the languages courses that are provided to the students are related to the geographical area. And last but not least, the students in those campuses come from all over the world, but they can be more related also to the geographical area of the campus.
So same core courses on all campuses, but our regional campuses have a geographical minor, and we'll get back to this in a few minutes. Now let's have a word with our first guest, Carolina. Carolina, thank you for being with us remotely. Carolina, you are a 2nd-year student on the Dijon campus, where you follow the European Union Central and Eastern Europe minor. You are originally from Czech Republic. Now, we mentioned the geographical minor. Could you tell us about the one you are following? What is the European Union Central and Eastern Europe minor about?
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. So, as was already mentioned, the minor has more components. Of course, it is the classes we have. We have special seminars, lectures, and courses dedicated to the region about European Union, integration, Balkans, literature, Eastern and Central Europe. But also we have a lot of students that come from the region, as me, from Central and Eastern Europe, which means there are also a lot of student associations dedicated to this region, which means there are a lot of events organized, a lot of lectures and seminars and debates with, for example, politicians from these areas. And also for me, what I think is very important is the teaching of languages. On the Dijon campus, students learn Central and European languages, which since I come from the Czech Republic, I didn't have to because I already speak Czech. But many of my classmates, they learn Czech, Polish, Hungarian, and many more languages, which I think is a perfect complement to the stuff we learn in classes.
You applied to Sciences Po as an international high school applicant from Czech Republic. How did you prepare and how Sciences Po helped you and your schoolmates from finding housing at Sciences Po to learning French and the process of integration?
Yes, so for me, the first step was that I got in touch with former Sciences Po students, and they helped me with some basic administrative stuff at the beginning. And when it comes to housing, actually at the Dijon campus, all the international students have a reserved place at the student residence. They don't have to live there, but many international students do. And for me, it was great because I did not have to stress at all about housing, and I knew I would have place there. And the last thing is, or for me the most important one, is the French intensive learning program. Because I come from the Czech Republic, my level of French was not as good at the beginning. So Sciences Po allowed me to take classes in English during the first semester, and I have intensive French learning program where I took a lot of French classes. And for me, it meant that from my around B1 level of French, I was able to get to a level where now I take classes and write exams in French all the time. So it actually helped me to learn the language, but also with that integrate the French students.
Carolina, thank you. You mentioned academia and the Sciences Po application. Now let's have a word on student activities. You are a member of both cultural and sports associations on the Dijon campus. Could you tell us what the student activities are like?
Yes, so on the campus there are many opportunities when it comes to sports, but also art and music, and also a lot of cultural associations. As I mentioned, there are a lot of associations dedicated to the Central and Eastern European region, but also many more. And when someone doesn't find the association for him, he can always create his own initiative, which is always appreciated, and every year there are new student initiatives. And as you mentioned, I am a member of the Czechoslovak Association, where we try to familiarize students with the Czech Republic and Slovakia, history, culture, politics, and debates. Also, I am a member of the Armenian associations, where we try to familiarize students with the Caucasus region. And when it comes to sports, I do basketball and cheerleading. And I think the sports are really an amazing experience at Sciences Po because every year the students from all campuses reunite together and compete in sports, but also do arts together. And it's such an amazing experience to be with all the students from all different campuses.
So lots of student activities on campus, obviously. Thank you very much, Carolina. Carolina, Jeanne mentioned the third year abroad. Typically, the Sciences Po Bachelors of Arts are the two first years on campus and the third year at a partner university abroad. Where do you intend to spend your third year abroad next year?
So I'm currently in the second year. So I do not know yet where I will be spending my third year, but I have just sent out my application in January and I should know in 2 weeks. And because I want to pursue economics in future, I mainly chose universities where I could take a lot of economics and econometrics classes and agreements which allow for me to pursue this my interest. So I opted for universities both, for example, in the United States, but also in Europe. I put Columbia University in Europe as my first choice, but also, for example, the London School of Economics and Stockholm School of Economics.
Thank you very much, Carolina, for your testimonial. Now back to studio with Jeanne Lazarus. Jeanne, in order to recruit the students from all over the world, Sciences Po offers programs both in French and in English. Carolina just mentioned how she could do the intensive French learning program during the first semester at Dijon. Do other Sciences Po campuses offer the same intensive French learning program? And otherwise, in what language are programs taught in other campuses?
Yes, so Dijon offers this intensive French program for a long time, but next year we will offer this program also at Nancy and Poitiers. So those campuses have a French track, but for students who have a B1 level in French, a B1 level, we will provide them with a lot of French during the first semester while they will follow their courses in English, and in the second semester they will be able to follow all the courses in French.
Yeah, please go on.
Yes, in the other campuses we offer full French tracks or full English tracks depending on the geographical minor.
Now, many of the viewers watching us live on YouTube today are hopefully prospective applicants, prospective students, hopefully future students at Sciences Po. Is there a typical Sciences Po applicant profile? What are the main qualities applicants are expected to have?
Well, I would say that the first quality is to be curious. We don't have a standard kind of student. We want them to be diverse, but to be dedicated to what they do. So, of course, we want them to be interested in academia, in the different disciplines that we provide, but we also look at their involvement in the city. We want them to be engaged, to be interested by common good and by the world, I would say.
Now, we mentioned the first year geographical minors that allow students to study a specific region of the world. Another way for students to specialize themselves is the choice of second year major. Could you tell us what those majors are?
Yes, so after the first year, where the 6 main disciplines are taught, the students can choose one of the 3 major, where 2 of each discipline are married. So there is economy and society, then there's politics and government, where the students will follow law and political science, and the last one is political humanities, where students will have history, philosophy, political science courses to go deeper into what they've learned in the first year.
So economy and society that delves in economics and sociology, politics and government that focuses on political science and law, and political humanities that focuses on political philosophy and history. Thank you very much. Now, we understand the principle of engagement is important at Sciences Po. An important component of the program is the civic learning program. Can you tell us what it's all about?
So it lasts for the 3 years of the bachelor. The student will have both internships where we really want them to be hands-on, to choose internship where they will be in contact with the people that will be helped. And we also ask them to have a reflexive view on their experiences. So they have to write different exercises during the 3 years. So the 2 main internships are made during the first summer, between the first year and the second year. It's a 1 month full internship in a non-profit. And during the second year, they will have a second experience during the year. In between courses, the students will, for example, help young pupils to make their homeworks after school 2 hours a week.
So the civic learning program is a personal project allowing students to fully assume their social and civic responsibilities. Thank you very much, Jeanne. Now let's have a word with Caitlyn. Caitlyn, thank you very much for being with us. You are a third-year student. You are doing the dual degree with Columbia University in New York. And you did the 2 first years of your program in Reims, on our Reims campus. You did the North America minor, and you are originally from South Korea. Now let's talk about the geographical minor. What is the North America specialization about, and did you have a favorite class?
Yeah, so the North American specialization is also known as a transatlantic or Euro-American program, really sets out a theoretical framework to encourage a very comparative approach to Europe and North America when engaging with a variety of interdisciplinary topics. So yes, it is a recurring theme, but students never really feel limited or restricted by it. So There are definitely occasional courses that demand specific attention to these regions, but overall, it's more about providing a conceptual background from both sides of the Atlantic to explore anything that you desire, even if it's from another part of the world. Like, for example, I always came back to Korean politics and history myself. And I would say that my favorite classes were definitely the more expansive and intellectually stimulating classes that benefited from this exact transatlantic blend. So that would be, for me, the top three would be political theory, environmental history, and French theory.
Now, both Carolina and Jeanne mentioned programs taught in English or programs taught in French at Sciences Po. The North America minor that you did is fully taught in English. Did you still get a chance to learn French while you were in Reims?
Yeah, so all classes are indeed in English, but non-French speaking students, such as myself, are required to take intensive French courses throughout their stay at Sciences Po. For me, it was one of the most rewarding and important experiences of my time there, and actually living there meant that I was completely immersed in the French language. And as a result, my learning process was immensely accelerated, and I really went from arriving and speaking absolutely no French to leaving at around a B2 and C1 level within 4 semesters.
Now, Caitlyn, you applied as well as an international applicant. You are originally from South Korea. How did you first hear about Sciences Po, and what made you decide to apply to the dual degree with Columbia University?
I first heard about Sciences Po through a close friend who actually sent me a link to the application saying that it would be a perfect fit for me. And as soon as I clicked on the link, the keywords that really stood out to me were internationalism, non-traditional, and unconventional. So I was just essentially very attracted to the profile that it sought, thinking that it was very fitting for my own path, growing up in 9 countries and the academic personality that I have that seeks interdisciplinarity. So I was just overall very curious about what a comparative education experience in 2 countries, 2 education systems, and 2 cultures would look like for me. So ultimately, I applied for all of these very reasons, and I was additionally very, very eager and ready for the challenge of splitting my education in 2 different places for 2 years each.
Internationalism, sorry, non-traditional and unconventional program were the different assets that got you to apply to Sciences Po. Thank you. Now, Jeanne mentioned the civic learning program, a personal program that allows students to fully assume their civic and social responsibilities. You did your civic learning program in the field of humanitarian aid. Could you tell us about your civic learning program and what it was about?
Yes, so I entered and volunteered in both Las Palmas de Gran Canaria in Spain and Reus under two very different organizations specializing in different forms of support for migrants. So I got a very expansive view of the current situation of migration in 2 different European Union countries, which eventually led me to write my capstone project thesis on comparing Spain and France's migration support systems at the cultural and philosophical level by firstly analyzing legislation and also bringing in my on-the-ground observations that I was able to make through the civic learning program. And overall, it really helped me set a trajectory for my professional interests and allowed me to turn a long-time passion into a concrete project. And I do think that this is the greatest strength of the program, is that it really pushes students to transform their ideas into meaningful action that has positive impacts on the communities that surround them.
Now, you are doing the 3rd year of the dual degree program. You'll apply to probably a graduate program next year. Where do you intend to do your graduate studies next year, in 2 years?
I actually think that the greatest merit of the dual degree program is the extent to which it widens your view. And it not only opens doors and possibilities in countries you would have never imagined. For example, I would have never imagined being able to, see a future in France for myself. But it also really opens up a range of possibilities in graduate studies and post-grad plans. So at the moment for myself, still having a year to really think about it, I'm at the point of exploring a variety of options, whether that be law school, further studies in anthropology or political theory, or pursuing a professional path first before returning to my studies. So you can see that there are plenty of options out there for me, but Sciences Po is definitely a place I am always dreaming about returning to.
So you still have a wide range of options open to you. Thank you very much, Caitlyn, for your testimonial. Now, Jeanne, could you tell us about the third year abroad, which is something quite unique at Sciences Po? We mentioned it earlier. Where can students spend that third year abroad?
So yes, as you said, it's a unique experience for the students. It's mandatory for them to spend this third year abroad. We have 480 partners in the 5 continents, so the students have a huge choice of topics, of kind of universities in those different partnerships. They can also choose to have what we call a mixed year, where they will spend 1 semester in a university and another semester doing an internship in another country than France.
So they have 480 options in 480 partner universities around the world to do this third year abroad. Thank you, Jeanne. Now, we have talked a lot about the Sciences Po Bachelors of Arts that lasts for 3 years. Caitlyn mentioned how she's doing the dual degree with Columbia University that lasts for 4 years. Sciences Po offers dual degree programs. Could you tell us about the dual degree programs?
Yes, so we have 6 dual degrees with French partners that are open mainly to French students with a baccalaureate. And we also have 10 dual degrees with international partners where the students will spend 2 years in Sciences Po doing the exact same curriculum than the others. And then instead of having this choice of 480 universities, they will spend their third year in the partner university, and they will also have a 4th year. So it's a 4-year program. At the end, they will get the diplomas of the 2 partners, Sciences Po and the partner university.
So Sciences Po offers 10 international undergraduate dual degree programs with among the best universities in the world, and 6 dual degree programs in France. A word on tuition fees at Sciences Po. How much does it cost to study at undergraduate level at Sciences Po?
So it depends on the parents' income. It goes from 0 to around 15,000 euros. And I have to say that a third of our students don't pay any tuition fees, and they will receive some stipends from Sciences Po in top of the national financial aid. So Sciences Po has very strong financial engagement for its students.
So for all students from the European Union, tuitions are based on the students' family incomes. Thank you very much, Jeanne. Now let's have a word with our final guest, Florian. Florian, thank you for being with us. You are a first-year master's student. You've already graduated from the Sciences Po Undergraduate College. You are doing a dual degree with Columbia University in International Governance and Diplomacy. You did your undergraduate studies on the Menton campus following the Mediterranean and Middle East minor. And you are originally from Italy. Is there something memorable you can share with us about the Mediterranean and Middle East minor? And what were the advantages of studying in Menton?
Yes, so it's great to have you here. The first aspect of the Menton campus with the international community. You have a community of over 60 nationalities, and so with many students who come from the region. And so while you also have academic classes about usually 1 or 2 classes per semester about the Mediterranean Middle Eastern region, you also get first-hand understanding of the region by engaging with your classmates, with discussions, with conferences, and with student associations. The second aspect that makes Menton really unique is the intimate class sizes. We have a community of around 350 to 400 students. We all live in a small town, living a 5 minutes walk from campus. We have small class sizes as well, which allows you to have a more personalized attention from professors, but also to have more meaningful interactions with your classmates and create a really close-knit community. And finally, as many other campuses at Sciences Po, I would say the vibrant student life is a very peculiar factor. Monton has over 20 student association, organizes prestigious and rewarding conferences, which allow you to challenge yourself outside of university and also get to know your classmates in another context. I personally joined the Mediterranean Model United Nations, MEDMO, which organizes a yearly organization about the Middle East, and that was probably one of the most rewarding experiences I had.
So a truly international campus in Menton with small-sized classes and vibrant student life. Thank you very much, Florian. We talked about the second-year majors, and Jeanne told us how there are 3 majors. You did choose the politics and government major. Why did you choose the politics and government major?
Yes, I chose the major politics and government in the second year because it aligned the most with my passion for understanding political systems, government structures, and it really also aligned with my career goals in the future. I always was interested in indeed the diplomatic career or the political career, and so politics and government is really the major for people who want to get an in-depth experience about that. You have during your first semester, the second year, classes like comparative politics, where you compare different state system, political theories. Then you also have a class about constitutional law, mostly about French constitutional law, but sometimes there is also a comparative perspective to that. And then you also have I had classes about states and societies in the Middle East. So it really gets you to analyze how countries work, how political system works, and it was also a very comprehensive and diverse major.
Florian, all Sciences Po undergraduate students spend their third year at a partner international university. You spent your third year abroad at King's College in London. What contribution did it make to your Sciences Po experience?
I would say in general, for everyone watching, the 3A is really the opportunity to either complete your regional concentration. If you're at campus with a regional concentration, many people go to the region they studied, or in my case, it's a way to complement your academic experience at Sciences Po with another teaching style. And for me, King's College London exposed me to diverse perspective, as well as to continue the rigor academic standards as well. And I think it was a perfect transition from the small size Menton into metropolis like London, which provide me a cultural immersion, broader understanding of global dynamics, meeting new people as well. And it also kind of completed what my initial plan was. I applied to Sciences Po and I was undecided between Sciences Po and the universities in London. And so with the Sciences Po 3A, I could combine and experience both of them.
So you have a truly international path at Sciences Po, since you did 2 years in Menton, then your third year in London, then you are doing this year, first year of master's in Paris, and you will be next year in New York at Columbia University in the frame of the Dual Graduate Studies while you were doing your bachelor's.
Yes, I was very sure that I wanted to continue staying at Sciences Po because of the reputation at Sciences Po, because of the quality of teaching, professors at master who are most of them practitioners, but also with a multidisciplinary approach. And the choice of international governance and diplomacy at Sciences Po pretty much aligned with my career goal in the diplomatic career. And so it was the master that gave me the best focus on international affairs and to really prepare for the diplomatic career afterwards. My choice of the master also had to do with the opportunity to have an internship experience. If you do a 2-year master exclusively at Sciences Po, you're usually required to do your third semester with to complete with an internship, or you can do an alternance during the second year, or you are even allowed to take a gap year so that you have a perfect transition from the academic to the professional world, which is what the graduate studies are pretty much about. So my choice really much had to do with the internship opportunity, with the alignment with my career goals and the quality of teaching.
Thank you very much, Florian, for such a fruitful testimonial. Now, Jeanne, Florian mentioned how he is doing his master's at Sciences Po. in the frame of a dual degree with Columbia University. Do all bachelor's graduates pursue graduate studies at Sciences Po?
Well, all the bachelor graduates are allowed to pursue, if they want, in any Sciences Po masters. Only a few of them have a selection, but almost all the Sciences Po masters are open to Sciences Po bachelor students, but they can also choose to go elsewhere with their bachelor degree. They can join universities all around the world.
So the idea is a great majority of Sciences Po students do 5 years at Sciences Po, 3
Yes.
years of Bachelor's of Arts, followed by 2 years of Master's program. Thank you very much, Jeanne. Now is the time for our Q&A session. Thank you, viewers, for all the questions you've been asking in the chat module of this YouTube live session. We're going to answer a few of those questions, and here is the first question from our viewers. And a question that I'm going to read out loud that Carolina could answer. How did you manage to find a place to stay near your campus? How did you manage to find accommodation, Carolina, at the Dijon campus?
So my first year, as I mentioned, I lived at the student residence. There are student residences in almost every different city. And then for my second year right now, I found an apartment in Dijon. It almost always works like that other students, they give or they re-give their apartments to younger students. So I'm now living in an apartment where for the past 6 years, Sciences Po students have been living. And I know there are multiple these apartments, and each year new students come to take these apartments. So first it was Sciences Po who helped me to find a room in a student residence. And then I got a room or got an apartment from my older friends.
Okay, so Sciences Po helped you find accommodation for the first year, and then you managed finding another accommodation in the following year. Thank you very much, Carolina. A question that maybe Caitlyn you could answer about dual degree programs, and the question is the following: how do you manage to split your time between your two degrees, between the two universities? Could you tell us again how academia is organized in between both Sciences Po and Columbia University in New York?
Of course, I'd be happy to answer this question. The dual degree programs are actually very robustly and rigorously planned for students. So it's made specifically so that the transition process is as smooth as possible. So every dual degree with Sciences Po, I believe, strictly starts with 2 years first at Sciences Po, and then you roll over onto this partner university's 2 years. And it's structured so that you have a certain number of credits from your first 2 years roll into the second degree. So you end up doing 4 years total, but with 2 degrees from 2 different institutions. And I would say it's, again, a very smooth process. You would almost not notice in terms of the administrative and academic front because those systems are in place. So I would not worry at all about that transition, being uncertain about will it work out. Yes, it will. It's very well put in place and ready to accept, to facilitate the best experience possible for students.
Thank you very much, Caitlyn. That was very clear, a very smooth articulation in between the two universities. A question for Florian about the Menton campus. And the question is the following: what is life like in Menton, Florian?
Yes, I'll be happy to answer that. I would summarize it as amazing for many reasons. You get to know everyone. As I said, 300, 400 students. You can really build long-lasting friendships. I would say pretty much all of my best friends today are most people that I met in Sciences Po Menton. Many of them will be also maybe your future colleagues, or just people that we always have very nice memories to share. Then the student life as well is vibrant. Not only student association, I would say also with parties and going out, as well as many trips that you can organize. You can visit Italy, you can visit the French Riviera, and so you really have time and plenty of opportunities to to get to know people, to get to know the region, to get to learn new things from the others. And so I would just summarize it as amazing.
And how could you compare your experiences from a small town like Menton compared to the experiences you've had in both London and Paris?
Yes. The main difference between London, Paris compared to Menton is the very small community. With Menton, you're really like a big family. There's even this whole tradition about creating a community, like a family, to integrate students as soon as you get there, which is something that is less possible to do in London and Paris, as they are big cities, big campuses, more dispersive. Everyone is already much more focused probably on their careers, on their internships, maybe already have groups of friends. Whereas coming to Menton, you all get out of high school, you all want to meet new people, you all want to start at your university, and that's probably the main difference between a big city and a small town like the campus de Menton.
Thank you very much, Florian. And then final question is for Dean Jeanne Lazarus. A question about the geographical minors. Let me read it out loud for you. What place does the geographic minor take in the studies? How much is the geographical minor important, and how much courses does it represent compared to the overall curriculum?
Yeah, so we think that it's around 20%. It could be seminars. It could also be in the main courses with a taste, I would say, of the geographic minor. It also, part of the geographic minor is the languages that the student learn in the campus. So yes, it's around 20%, but it's also very present in a lot of events that are organized in the campus, conferences. Also, we have intensive research programs, like winter schools. During 1 week, the students will work with a leading scholar working on the zone of the campus, and the scholar will bring them the research, the more accurate research on the space that they're interested in.
So geographical minor count for 20% of the overall program, but not only in academia, and also student life, languages taught, research, and the origins of international students studying on the specific campus. Thank you very much, Jeanne. Our information session is now coming to an end. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching and making yourself available for this YouTube live session. We hope that we were able to answer the questions you had on the Undergraduate College. Notice that you can find more information in our upcoming open house day event that you can register to on the Sciences Po website. So feel free to register for our upcoming events on the Sciences Po website. Thank you very much, Jeanne Lazarus, for being with us today. And thank you, Carolina, Caitlyn, and Florian, for your great testimonials. We hope to see you again soon, and we hope to see you, dear viewers, again soon at Sciences Po. Thank you very much, and goodbye.